Hi there, meteorologist Robert Spetta. Let's talk about what's going on out here today across the tropics. You know, everybody's number one question is what's going on next week as far as a tropical area, or at least a tropical wave out here. And at this time, I can tell you, south of Guam, we got plenty of convection with an area. I would give it a low to moderate chance of development at this point. That is as of your early Saturday morning. The key thing is, though, we have an area of convection moving into a relatively area of warm sea surface temperatures, which could increase our chance of some tropical development. The GFS has been all sorts of on board with this potentially happening somewhere over Visayas, northern Mindanao, southern Luzon. Thing is, ECMWF, which I always show here, that's the model data we have ingesting into our weather graphics here, which, by the way, if you want to support these graphics, check out our Patreon. But the overall flow, and you can kind of see the moisture is just going to be embedded, and it pushes out here as we go ahead through midweek and kind of get some lows trying to pop up with it with the ECMWF. The key thing definitely is going to be a moisture increase by the mid to latter part of the week for these areas which were just absolutely struck by tropical storm Agatan. Never made typhoon. I see a lot of people referring to it as a typhoon. Never made typhoon status. But regardless, it did cause a lot of damage, saturated the grounds. Last thing we need is more rainfall on top of that. So question is, you know, that's where the rain's probably going to be hitting. Why am I confident that's where I'm probably going to be seeing the rainfall out here? It's a lot to do with the overall background flow. And let me explain. Tropical system, tropical waves, you think of them as water flowing downhill, right? Water's never going to want to flow uphill. It's always going to go downhill. It's always going to try to seek out the path of least resistance. Tropical waves, for that matter, or tropical storms, typhoons even, similar situation. You have high pressure area right here, so our storm's not going to want to recurve to that direction. Here's our positive vorticity with our convection. That's going to move along the overall background flow, south of that area of high pressure, eventually towards, well, unfortunately, the Philippines, bringing more rainfall across this area. So that's just the overall flow. What I also want to show you, though, is just kind of our track. This is what I mean by that. That's where I would expect it to go. This does not show intensity, just where this tropical wave or low pressure area probably is going to head. And you can see here from Pagasa, from the 21st to the 27th, we're about halfway through that. They expect something to develop there in the Philippine Sea. And then even 28th through the 4th, something over the Philippines and a secondary low, potentially excuse me, potentially developing on the back side of that. Oh, I had dental work done earlier today. I hope that has nothing to do with that. But anyways, so on the potentially on the back side of that, you can see here from our GFS spaghettios, that is our ensembles, each one of these red dots indicate a different run within the GFS model. And it just shows kind of where that confidence is. Now, the confidence is that something is probably going to be developing and moving over the Philippines, bringing rainfall. The intensity is unsure and exactly where this could go, past Luzon and eventually move off towards the north, or stay out in the Philippine Sea, which I think is less likely. Regardless, there is that chance of this moving off towards the north and increasing rainfall from Visayas through northern Luzon. So for sure, want to keep a very close eye on that. If you are issued a flood warning, naturally, you know, make sure you're smart about it, my friends. Flooding, even if we don't have signal force warnings that are very high, can always cause a problem. Agatan can testify to that. That's something we definitely seen out here. So your forecast for your Sunday. This is looking ahead to the end of the weekend into northern areas of Luzon. We still got 1 or 2 showers out there, but still seeing that rain down towards Davao as well. And here's the flyover for Sunday. Just a little different depiction of the same forecast. Got that rainfall in the south. Tell me which one you like better. A lot of people like this. I like it. It looks pretty, but sometimes it flies over a little bit too fast, so you can't read it. 32 in Legazpi. Rojas at 29. We're looking a lot towards Martinique. 30 degrees with those afternoon thunderstorms. Well, partly cloudy skies there in Manila and sunny conditions for once across Region 1 outside of Baguio. Where you got a little higher elevation, you get sometimes mountain rains that could be kicking up. Into Cebu, yeah, by midweek, naturally we got that rainfall that's going to be setting in as well. Wednesday over towards Thursday and also into Manila. We're also going to be continuing to watch that area in the tropics as well. By the latter part of the week, could increase your rainfall. So that's really the big takeaways from today's forecast. If you do want to support this channel, like I said, the data is not free. We have to pay for it. Right now, we're getting along pretty well, actually. We're able to pay for a lot of this, but I do want to make upgrades, changes. I would like to do this job full time, so if you really do want to help out and make that possible, check out our Patreon. At the very least, $2 a month. It goes a long way when everybody does donate just a little bit. So always appreciate the help. As always, thanks for watching. I'm going to get myself a glass of water. And of course, stay safe out there.